Hey guys, welcome back to the second video of today. A bit unexpected for me, I guess. They basically said it will be releasing today. We have the OCG Forbidden ban list, which is really a crazy, insane ban list, and honestly a really bad one in the end. Even though it's a really good one, sort of, and the TCG definitely would have loved this ban list. That is to be said. Here with the OCG ban list, very interesting because this also has an influence or has an impact on what could happen with Master Duel. With the Master Duel ban list, I have a Master Duel ban list prediction video coming out tomorrow, and we will see the list probably within the next days. And I think that the changes we see right here could definitely change something up. So keep that in mind when you watch my video tomorrow. There are definitely some new information that I hadn't before. But without further ado, let's hop right in. We have a newly unlimited Blaster, Dragon Ruler, Redox title, and Tempest. All the Dragon Rulers going back to 3. I don't know, this doesn't change anything. They won't be good again. They are definitely outpowered, overpowered. So yeah, they can come back to 3. We have Performance Plush Fire back to 3. This recently happened in the TCG. We have this at 0 in the Master Duel still, but this once again doesn't really change anything. Might change something in Master Duel because we have this Electromite Link monster for Pendulum, but yeah, it showed in the TCG that it doesn't really make a difference. There's also the Errata on this card, which now it's a once per turn on the monster effect. It wasn't before, which is definitely what made it overpowered. We have Spyro Quick-Quicks from 2 to 3, also doesn't change anything here, just cards that come back from the list, or that can come back from the list because it doesn't matter anymore. We have Zeus coming back to 3, also totally okay. You rarely ever play more than 1, and at the moment you rarely ever play 1. We have Magispector Unicorn Kirin in every format. This went back to 3 and did nothing, so that's fine. Raigeki back to 3, this is also totally okay, I guess. We will also see this going back to 3 in Master Duel. We have my friend Pearly back to 3, also fine. The deck is out power crap, definitely, so this can come back to 3. We have Lightning Storm from 2 to 3. In TCG it's still at 2, but I honestly think it doesn't make that big of a difference having one additional Lightning Storm in your side deck if you want to, so I think this is totally fine. And then we have newly semi-limited, and now it gets really interesting. We have Aether from 1 to 2. Also, yeah, good Drytron support. Drytron being better with this, but also not that impactful. A Speedroid Terratop. This is kind of nice because you want to open with this card. So if you have this at 2, then it's definitely more consistent, and you can use this Speedroid package once again. We have Dino Racer Pankatrops to 2, which is also, yeah, it's okay. Fenrir is just better. We have MX Saber Invoker to 2. We had this coming back to 1 in Master Duel, didn't change anything, didn't do anything. Last up, Pendulum, the Draco Slayer. Not sure where you would use this, but back to 2. It was at 3 before. Gold Sarcophagus back to 2. Interesting. Nice for Bernadespia, obviously. We have Fusion Destiny back to 2, also totally fine. Heroes definitely not a deck that will dominate. And we have Branded Opening going back to 2. Interesting. OCG giving Branded some new power here. I like it. And then we have Maxi going from 3 to 2. Interesting. I think this does not tell us that this will also happen in Master Duel, but this is obviously also because of Mulch Army Fuvoros, basically the new Maxi, and Mulch Army Purulia. It was to be expected, and I thought this would happen earlier, honestly, that this might get banned, and I think in the future we could see this card get banned. I'm not quite sure why we are putting this to 2 instead of just banning it, honestly, but interesting. I guess they just want to try out what happens if they put it at 2. They want to approach it a bit slowly, I guess, but I predict that we will see more hits concerning Maxi in the future, and we will also see hits concerning Maxi in Master Duel in the future, because they have just made better Maxis that are fairer, that are better for the game, that they should have made in the beginning. We have Nightmare Throne from 3 to 2, and this is part of my prediction in the video tomorrow. Definitely a good way to hit Yubel here, and now that we see this in the OCG, this makes it way more likely to also be hit in the TCG. We have Ghost Mesh from 3 to 2. I definitely like putting all the floodgates to 1, basically, like we see it in MD and TCG, so I like this. Then we have Nulai Limited. We have Zodiac Trident going from 0 to 1. Okay, doesn't really change anything. We also have this in Master Duel. We have Masterpiece, the True Draco Slayer. This is still forbidden in Master Duel and the TCG. You can let me know in the comments whether this is impactful or not. We have Red Eyes Dark to Grun, and this is interesting because this could mean that we also get this back in Master Duel, and a friend of mine is very hyped for playing this in Branded Espia, being able to summon this in the Dark Magician deck, and I also think that it can come back to Master Duel. I've played against this in TCG a lot, and it's not a big problem. We have Snatch Deal coming back from 0 to 1. This happened at all the other formats, didn't change anything. And now for the very interesting ones. We have Diabellstar going to 1, 3 to 1. This is also a change I will talk about in the prediction video tomorrow. And then also Snake Eyes Poplar going from 3 to 1. This is what we saw in the TCG. This is what we're seeing in the OCG. A very, very good hit. And I think we could also see this in Master Duel. I hope so, because this would mean I get 60 ultra rare crafting points back. Can also hit the Diabellstar, even though I think the Snake Eyes Poplar hit is better than the Diabellstar. And then we see Tenpai Dragon Chandra going to 1, and we have seen before the Sengen Summoning going to 1. But yeah, Tenpai is still one of the more dominant decks, kind of. We will take a look at the OCG in a second here, and I will show you why this ban list is kind of good and kind of bad. But yeah, we have this at 1 now. This definitely changes how powerful the deck is. The Sengen Summoning to 1 is more impactful, and the Sengen Summoning to 1 is also the hit I expect Master Duel to basically introduce when we also get Tenpai Dragon. This is the bigger one, the Sengen Summoning to 1, but Chandra to 1 is also impactful, because just summoning Chandra can be enough, and you can special summon the Chandra if you control another Tenpai monster. Summoning one Chandra can be enough to just end the game, to kill your opponent, which is why I think this is actually quite impactful. And we are kind of at this point with Tenpai Dragon that it's questionable what cards we even want to put in our deck now, because there are a lot of Tenpai Dragon cards that we can't put in anymore because they are at 1. And filling them with more hand traps makes the deck just very inconsistent. We have all the pots in there. We might add a pot of extravagance for the future. But yeah, this deck definitely gets more and more inconsistent, and at some point we will have to see how play strong this still is. We have Phantom of Jubel from 3 to 1, also a hit I will talk about in the video for tomorrow. Very interesting one. I talked about this and called it a very, very good idea to hit Jubel, basically, because if you only have one, then you can't use this one basically for link climbing, for just as a body to make an Appaloosa, for example, but you then have to use it and keep it on the field if you want this monster negate live, and you can't just remake one on the next turn with all the stuff in your graveyard. Also keep this in mind, very important here, that the Phantom of Jubel is not only this monster negate that you can just make, but also gives basically the stuff back into your extra deck, right? The Jubel, this all gets back into the extra deck, and you can then use it once again, summon it once again, which is very impactful. And then we have Fiendsmith Engraver from 3 to 1. I think a lot of people were wishing for this to happen in the TCG. Very interesting. Obviously makes the deck way less consistent, and also not having access to another Fiendsmith Engraver makes one of the lines weaker. We still have the Fiendsmith Lacrima here in the OCG, so it's kind of fine. You can still get 2 level 6 bodies on the field, but there's also like a combo version where you will just have 2 Fiendsmith Engravers on the field, 2 level 6s to overlay, which is now no longer possible. Very nice hit here, consistency as well as combo hit. Then we have Fiendsmith Track going from 3 to 1, not really that impactful, but we might have seen, or it could have been the case that we play some more Fiendsmith Track this year, just to make up for the loss of the Engraver. We have Bonfire from 2 to 1, so crazy. Also a hit I talk about in the video tomorrow. I wish I would have made the video a little bit later on, but it's already up, so it is what it is. But yeah, we are hitting a lot of the stuff here. Basically the entire meta gets a real hard hit. The entire meta, haha, we will see in a moment here. Newly Forbidden Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, obviously also very impactful. Snake Eye, or the entire Fiendsmith stuff, was using this to send anything to the graveyard that you can imagine. I think at some point we will also see this hit in Master Duel. But the thing is, and I mean, I really like this list in theory, and this would have been a great list for the TCG, but the thing is that in the OCG, as you can see right here, this is from last week, we have this Ryziel and Malice dominance, right? Ryziel 44% of all decks and Malice 10%. We have Tenpai Dragon with only 8, Snake Eyes Fiends with only 8, and then yeah, these are all the hits here. These 2 decks here got hit really hard. Obviously you don't hit the new decks, Ryziel and Malice, they are new, I do understand, but I guess what this means is that we will now just see a Ryziel domination here, and then a bit of Malice, because this also didn't get any hits. But yeah, Ryziel just might be like a tier 0 deck right now. We might see a tier 0 Ryziel format here in the OCG, because we have this at 44 already, and I think this is pretty low. I think if we take a look at a week before, we would see this was even higher before, I think. Okay, it was only 35. Okay, forget what I'm saying, but you can see right here that these were bigger at the time, Tenpai Dragon and Snake Eyes Fiendsmith, which they will definitely not be as big as they are here, both of them receiving considerable hits. So yeah, Ryzeal tier 0 format is incoming, I think. This is why I think the list is actually nice. Also the design is nice of the list. I really like what they hit here, especially for the fire decks, and then all Temper Dragon and Jubel. I really like the hits, they are great, but they didn't really address the already strongest deck in the game, and then another upcoming here in Malice. So yeah, I think we are looking at a tier 0 format. We will see within the next weeks. But guys, let me know in the comments what you think of this list. Where do you think are the weak points? Where do you think are the strong points? And what are you wishing for in Master Duel? Which change here would you also like to see in Master Duel? Personally, I like the Phantom of Jubel going from 3 to 1. If I would have to choose one, let me know in the comments. Thanks for being here. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing, hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell, and we will see each other in the next one.